Hello one and all, this is Hybrid Steel. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Today we're going to be doing the Salem Kirin, which is car number 5 for Car Mechanic Simulator. This is the story order, so without further ado, let's get it on, shall we? So we're going to put it up to the lift and we're going to see about parts. Nothing is on there, so we've got to do a full restoration. I bought this machine from a friend who needed money quickly. He assured me that the car was fine, but I feel it is pulling to the right and it has a strange smell like mushroom. So the last part of the description is basically all about the person that owned the car the first time. Then we've just got to basically diagnose what is wrong with this car to start with. So hopefully we'll go through the parts and we'll find it very quickly. Okay, so as you can see, everything is shot to bits. We've got to get rid of that base, we've got to get rid of some of the suspension, we've got to get rid of some of the radiator as well, because I think that's done. And yeah, so what we'll do is we'll break the car down. This will be all sped up so you guys don't have to sit here so painfully long. So quick tip for everybody out there: if a guy that says that everything in that car is completely fine and he's your friend, sometimes it's best not to go with the person, because sometimes, you know, he just wants your money, doesn't really care about the car itself, and you could be lumbered with a giant bill. This guy is going to get a bill for this because there's quite a lot of work that needs doing to this car, so we'll just continue breaking down the front end. Right, let's go down the other side and do exactly the same on this side. So strip the wheel off, strip all the suspension bits off, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've nearly stripped down the front end. I've got to be honest, if I was this guy, I'd be very annoyed with my friend right now. So one thing that I've started doing whilst I've been doing all these cars and sort of working on them in a certain order, I now start from the front of the car and work my way to the back. So instead of just doing like everything from the front and then just working everything on the back and then having all of these parts, I've got to go through all these lists and do it all in one big go, and it just gets a little bit like confusing over time. There are 3 certain sections to each car. There's the front end, which is the wheels, suspension, the cross member, and so on and so forth. Then there's the rear end, which is the wheels, suspension, and the fuel tank, and obviously the exhaust and the gear linkage that's between the rear wheel and the front wheel. And then there is the engine itself. So if you're diagnosing one area at a time, it seems to make a lot more sense. So you do all of one thing all at the same time, and then you just move on to different sections. This has actually helped me sort of like really narrow down of what is actually wrong with each car as I've been doing it, and this has actually sort of made it a little bit quicker for myself instead of like fizzing around with like, oh, I need to do this bit and this bit and this bit and this bit. It just sort of separates everything, but at the same time it makes it a lot quicker to work on. Okay, so I think we've got everything for the front end. Let's start rebuilding this now and we'll go from there. So one thing that I did sort of like think about in my head is that I do sort of forget about the bushes occasionally. So sometimes it's best to make sure you're actually clicking on these. I've missed them a couple of times. I've actually had to like strip down like one side of a car just to put another one back in. So it's always good to sort of make sure you're putting the bushes and the bearings in as well, because they are separate parts. They don't just slot in with the bit you're adding. So we've pretty much done everything in the front, apart from put the radiator back. We can't do that until we drop the car back down into the engine bay. So now we've got to basically find out what else was wrong with this car. Awesome! Right, okay, so I think we just need to work onto the back. I think this is mainly just going to be brakes, because there's not a lot else that could be really wrong up here. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a little bit messy and a little bit rusted, but I think we'll be alright. Pretty sure it's just brakes. So here we go. Well, that's the rubber bushing. Okay, so I think it would be the rubber bushing on this side as well. So if we take that one off. Right, fantastic. I think we found it. We found it. Okay, so both those bushes should be completely shot now. Make sure. Yep, it was a bush. Okay, so I'm gonna unhighlight all the stuff below. Then I'm gonna highlight all the stuff I need to put back onto the car. And then we should be done. I mean, it doesn't need an oil change. We should be completely fine. Don't forget to put the bushing back. Like I said, don't forget to put these back, because sometimes, because they're so small when you're doing all this other stuff, you might forget to put the bushing back and you won't realise this until you get to the end of the game or the end of that car. So the best thing to do is to make sure you're putting it back right now. So, thank you very much for joining me in this video. This has been Hybrid Steel. If you have liked it, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe and notifications button below for all other updates. And I will see you all in another video, live stream or whatever else I do on this channel. So I want to say peace out, have fun and enjoy everything you guys do. Bye bye.